In this tutorial, we want to teach how to dynamically call pages in the CodeBehind framework. Please check the CodeBehind version before starting work, and if there is a newer version, be sure to update it. First, in order to show the results of the previous works, we execute the project. First, let's change the color of the header. In the previous videos, the header part was not very clear and we want to make the header color blue. By using Inspector in the browser, we can include the changes and see the changes made at the same moment. With the F12 key, you can run Inspector in the browser. We make the changes and then save the changes in the style file of the project. It is usually necessary to clear the browser cache to see the changes. We select the combined keys of Ctrl and Shift along with Delete and note that the cache tick is active, and then select the Delete button. Then we need to refresh the page. Just press the F5 key to refresh. In the menu on the right, we have 3 buttons, all of which are inactive, and we need to create a new page for each one. Return to Visual Studio. We add a directory named Page for pages in the www root directory. We want to dynamically add the pages that are in the page directory to the right side of the menus. We add the main page and the About page in this project. The Contact page will also be added later in a separate training video related to working with forms. We add a page named main.aspx in the page directory. According to the previous tutorials, we set the attributes of the page with controller and model values and then add the controller class and model class according to the MVC pattern in CodeBehind. We want to use a ready-made main page. Of course, you can design the page from scratch. We searched the internet and found the address tooks.com. There are different types of ready-made templates on this website. According to the URL address, We select one of the templates and download it. The download file is a zip file that we need to put its contents in www page path in our project. We copy the contents of the index.html file and then open the main.aspx file and paste it at the end of the attributes of the page. Then we delete the index.html file. We run the project and enter the page main.aspx path address in the browser. As you can see, we encountered an error. The cause of the error is not placing the created model in the view method. If you set a model in the attribute of the ASPX page, you must call the view method with the created instance of the model class. We run the project again and again enter the page main.aspx path address in the browser. As you can see, the page in this path is called without any problem. We need to call this page on the default.aspx page of the project. To do this, we create a variable named currentPage in the default.aspx page controller class and set its initial value with the main string. Then we make a condition so that if the page query was entered in the page, the value of the page query will be placed in the current page variable. Then, by using the run method from the class instance created from CodeBehind execute, we add the current page variable after the page string and then add the .aspx string to it. Finally, we put the output values of the run method in the model body value attribute. We implement the project. As you can see, the called page, but the path style values are not appropriate. We return to Visual Studio and copy the head values in the main.aspx file to the head located on the default.aspx page. We set all paths of CSS files according to the root path, so that these files can be called without any problem from any way we access the page. Because the default .aspx page contains HTML, head and body tags, we delete these extra tags from the main.aspx file located in the page directory. In the default.aspx page controller class, we set the value of the current page variable along with a string in the model.pagetitle attribute. We run the project again. This time the page styles were called. But the path of the image files and scripts need to be set according to the root path. We run the project again. This time, the page will appear flawlessly. We want to add About page in the project. Therefore, we add a page named about.aspx in the page directory. In newer versions of the CodeBehind Framework, there is no need to follow the MVC pattern and we can create a single page view without specifying the controller and model attributes. Then we design the About page. We implement the project. This time, we set the query page with the About value in the query string and execute the path. As you can see, the About page is also successfully called in the default.aspx page. Opening pages in the query string is not a good idea and we want to access the pages in a better way. In the CodeBehind Framework, our hands are open to apply changes and personalization and perform dynamic tasks. We want to rewrite the input URL before running the pages. We open the program.cs class and act in the app.run method in such a way that if the path starts with page, We change the request path with the root path. Then we add a query named page to the query string. We set its value according to the path of the ASPX file and according to the entered codes. Please note that this is a quick tutorial and it is better to make URL rewriting as a dynamic mechanism. We run the project and this time instead of entering the query string, we enter the page about path. As you can see, the header template is not called correctly. As mentioned before, to solve this problem, we need to set the style value according to the root path, so that these files can be called without any problem from any way we access the page. Run the project again and enter the page about path. As you can see, the style value is called correctly. Return to Visual Studio. We want to replace these static tags with the list of dynamic project pages. In order to do this in MVC, we need to code in the header controller class and the header model class. First, we add an array named PageList in the model section. Then, in the controller section, we obtain the list of ASPX files available in the www root page path according to the video and add them to the page list array in the model. We forgot to add the page list array as public. So we fix it. One of the strengths of the CodeBehind framework is that if a page is called, it will also have access to the query string of the initial request. Therefore, we add the current page attribute in the header class model and set its initial value with the main string. Then we make a condition so that if the page query was entered in the page, the value of the page query will be placed in the current page attribute. We return to the header view page. We want to create a list of ASPX pages in the www root page path according to the previous template. Please note that it is better not to do server-side coding in these pages and simply value these pages with model class attributes and create these items from other methods. Our intention of creating coding on these pages is only superficial training. First, we create a for loop. For the items of the active class and the path of the main page, we pass an if condition. To add the active class to the tag, we add the condition that the name of the current page is equal to the name of one of the names in the list in the page list array. The name of the current page was main. You put the path of the page with a / character, Otherwise we put the path of the page, page name. We implement the project. We click on the links in the menu pages and you can see the result.